Hello, Matt Griffin here with the Smile Mentor. Today we are taking a little bit of a unique turn in our normal education process, and really wanted to help you guys understand some of the different unique things out there when it comes to your smile. And so why in the heck am I in this amazing lab, 14,000 square feet of lab space in Miami, Florida? Well, I'm actually joined by Duncan Ross, who is the CEO of Chimera Labs, and we're talking about stem cells and exosomes today. Primarily exosomes, but stem cells and what they are. Now they've become buzz enough that you've heard that term, or at least the stem cell term. But how does that apply to dentistry? Does regenerative medicine actually come when you're talking about your smile? Isn't that just your skin? Isn't that just a facelift or some joints feeling better or things like that? But no, it actually applies to when it comes to your oral health and healing side of it, your bone regeneration. So I'm going to let Duncan speak on that a little bit. But again, I'm really blessed to have had the opportunity to bring this to you. Really want to thank you, Duncan, for spending some time with us.
Yeah. 27,000 square feet.
Not 14,000 square feet.
This is the largest exosome-specific lab in the world, probably.
Just even in being around here today, seeing how many things and how many people want your attention, how many calls from around the world you're getting for solutions, and being on the cutting edge of some really unique, awesome medicine. So the fact you take time for us, I want to say thank you, Duncan. I really appreciate that. Giving some people some background out there on how we met. We both were teaching at a conference, different segments. I was teaching on the business marketing side. You were teaching on what exosomes were, and I sat into that, and I had a good background somewhat before the conference on what exosomes were, because I saw the business and the effective side, and interviewing those twins, which we talked about, was amazing. Right. But then we got a chance to sit down on camera the first time and get to know you a little bit. Tell me a little bit about yourself. We got to kind of hear some of why you're doing this, and your mom was a big factor in that, right?
Well, it's actually my father.
Your father, I'm sorry.
Well, my mother's the deal now, but my father had leukemia, and he was also a scientist. He used to fly into hurricanes and measure the wave heights. He was a physical oceanographer. So that's why I'm from Miami, because he worked for NOAA. So when he was diagnosed with myelodysplastic syndrome, as the researcher that he is, we started researching, but learning, like everyone who has a family member with a disease, you get busy, but you really can't do it. You can't really understand what you're reading and fast enough to save that person. I'm pretty sure almost everybody goes through that experience. So I had the same experience, but I was sort of lucky in a way. Usually when somebody has acute myeloid leukemia, they die in 6 months. By the time they find out, it's because their bones are breaking, and they find out they have 6 months to live. In his case, myelodysplastic syndrome was a much slower moving disease, so I had about 6 years with him. So we were able to do a lot of reading in that time and a lot of learning. I still made the wrong decisions, and he passed away, but I started graduate school before he died. He died 2 years after I started. And that's why I studied bone marrow transplantation, because that's what I was afraid to take him to, because it's such an onerous therapy. 50% of people die. And so when you don't know anything and you read that, you stick with chemotherapy, which is the wrong approach. You really should have gone to bone marrow transplantation rapidly. So bone marrow transplantation is the original stem cell therapy, right? And we have 70 years of experience with it. We know the proteins, we know the mechanisms, the protocols, different types of tests to run. So when I saw this bergeoning field of regenerative medicine, specifically people using umbilical cord cells, that kind of blew my mind, because here I'm studying cord blood transplantation for leukemias, and people are using it for orthopedics. I was like, well, what is going on here? So that's when I started to look more into the field.